Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Saturn Sextile or Trine one's natal Mercury. Now, this transit could manifest in the career, hard work, uh, father, I should say, responsibilities, discipline, structure. These things can be in harmony with your communication and learning and assimilating information. And I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. Well, for one thing, this is the time where there's been any, say, confusion regarding career-related matters, anything pertaining to business. This is the time when you could, really articulate uh, what you need to do. Uh, you could formulate plans in terms of being more successful. Matters pertaining to your career, if you're trying to move up the ladder, so to speak, and attain a higher position at your current company. This is the time where you really, it's a good opportunity of understanding what you need to do in order to do that. This is also a time where you have, it could be a very auspicious time for responsibilities with what I call mercurial people, siblings, cousins, or neighbors. If the transit Saturn stays in Aquarius, it could be doing things like fixing computer or maybe doing even something astrological to help them out. Have working on an electronic device for them. It can be a time to where the thinking can be more disciplined than usual. It's like I say what can really be positive and propitious about this transit is the fact that you could have better control over what you say, things that might lead to great repercussions. Saying the wrong thing to somebody, causing like an acrimonious response from another person. This is the time when you're more apt to understand, to know what to say, how to say something, put it in more constructive terms to have a better result. If there's something derogatory that you feel or something negative that needs to be said, it could be said in a way where it comes out better because you're apt to be more disciplined in your speech at this time, more so than usual. Even if you have, say, your natal Mercury in outspoken Aries or very blunt Sagittarius, this could be a time where you might be able to discipline what you're speaking, your communications more so than you ordinarily would. And it's a time too to learn, I would say, at your business, if you're trying to, like, especially if you're in one of those like learn as you go businesses, or say if you're in college and you're learning about your field, like one of those things where you're getting paid and it's like paid training. This could be a very auspicious time for this, and it can also be a time again where going back to Mercury being connected with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. It's a time where you can put some serious concentration on these matters and not be likely have very few diversions and distractions. If there's something that needs to be taken care of, again, if there's responsibilities connected with these people or some kind of work that you need to do with these people, this is the time where you're more apt to be able to do so and not have, again, the diversions or distractions in doing this at this particular point in time. And it's also a time where you could put more, you could say, the concentration on people that were prominent in your early education. Um, it can be a time where these people even, maybe they're favorable to your career at this time. It could be doing hard work for these people. It might be also, Saturn is connected with mentors, so it might be a time where it could be very auspicious for reconnecting, with people that were mentors, that were teachers, that were in your early education. If the transit Saturn is in Sagittarius, it might be somebody maybe taught you religion or philosophy, or talked about, or foreign language, foreign country, could be foreign countries. The transit Saturn is in Libra. It could be somebody that taught you something connected with art or fashion design or something with the law, as another example. Now, it can also be a time, if you've had anything anatomically connected with Mercury, associated with Mercury, say something with the hands, the arms, the nerves, lungs, or breathing. If you've had any issues with these things, this is the time where you could put more focus and concentration on these matters and take responsibility for this. At this point in time, even more so than you ordinarily would. This is a time where you may perceive these things in a more serious manner, and and if there are serious issues, it's something that needs to be addressed, and you're more likely than not to do something about it because you're going to take things like this more seriously at this time, more so than you ordinarily would. And it's a time, when you have this transit, it's also what could be very positive about this. Saturn is about planning and premeditation. It can be a time where you can have very planned short journeys. At this time, if the natal Mercury is in Pisces, it might be very convoluted short journeys, or maybe it's something where it's one where you get lost pretty quickly if you don't plan it out well. So that's what makes this a very positive transit for that, because Saturn is about premeditation, about planning and plotting things out prior to doing so. And whether it's planned communications, could be planned short journeys, it could be a very positive transit for these things at this point in time. And this is also transit as well. Mercury is also connected, with its local transportation. So if you're, it's more of a positive time, to do things, in connection with this. If you're planning, like say a trip, this is the time where you're more likely to be able to see, what the traffic at certain times, what's the best time to take this trip. If you have to do any hard labor connected with a vehicle, because that's connected with local transportation, this could be auspicious for that as well. And being able to work on this and not have, again, going back to diversions and distractions, having little distractions at this time in order to perform the tasks that need to be performed on this. And it can be also a time where if you have any work that requires a lot of analysis, whether it's diagnosing a vehicle or analyzing an astrological chart, this could be the time where you could put more focus and concentration on this at this time. It can be a time also too where the father, older people, authority figures may be beneficial to you in matters with short journeys. And also if you're trying to analyze something, you're trying to figure some kind of problem out. If you're at your place of business and you're trying to analyze some problem, you're trying to figure out something. It could be something as simple as arranging pallets in the stock room. This is a time where authority figures may be more favorable for that, being able to assist you in doing so more so than usual. But another way this transit may manifest, it could be about responsibility, which is Saturn, to siblings, cousins, and neighbors, which is Mercury. And if, let's say, for example, if the transit Saturn is in Taurus, it might be doing something with gardening or banking, maybe geology. It can be maybe isolated cases. But anyway, also to the father, which is Saturn, may be more in harmony and agreement with your communications, which is Mercury. Let's say, for example, if the natal Mercury is in Aquarius, it could be communications regarding your future, innovation, astrology, computers, or astronomy. As some examples, it could be communications regarding your goals and aspirations. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, now it also could be a propitious time for, again, planned or premeditated, which is Saturn's short journeys, which is Mercury. If Mercury, say, is in Virgo, it could be a short journey that required a lot of analysis, or you compiled a lot of data pertaining to it. As some examples, it could be work related. It also could be very positive for laborious work, which is Saturn, that can involve manual dexterity, which is Mercury. If, let's say, for example, if the transit Saturn is in Gemini, it could be something connected with cars, local transportation. Maybe it's something, really at this time, those are some examples, but it's also another way this transit may manifest. It could again be very positive for concentration, which is Saturn, in assimilating information and learning, which is Mercury. Let's say, for example, if the natal Mercury is in Sagittarius, it could be learning about sports, even printing press operation, publishing, advertising, religion, philosophy, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.